Hello everybody, this is Yoko's Anime Reactions, and this is going to be my review for Goblin Slayer episodes 5 and 6. Um, I will try to get some recordings done tomorrow. My sister is taking my nephews to a water park tomorrow, and I'm hoping that she comes and gets them in the morning. That way I have some time to actually record a bit before I have to go into work. Oh, I just realized tomorrow's Friday. I thought she was talking about Saturday. Still doesn't change anything, though. Anyway, this episode 5, not really too much happens, besides we get to see what a couple of other adventurers get up to. They end up going down in the sewers, and the guy ends up losing his sword because he killed a giant rat, and the sword got stuck in there. And before he could get it out, a bunch of spider creatures, whatever you want to call them, show up and start eating on the corpse. So, yeah, the guy lost his sword, and they have no money, so they can't go and, buy a new sword. What I don't get is, why can't they just, do odd jobs for people and get a little money that way? Offer to carry somebody's groceries or go run errands for somebody or whatever. And then they would pay you and you'd be able to go get a new sword. Or at least a basic weapon to where you can go back and get your sword. And question, is the girl a paladin? Because she uses Holy Smite, and the only thing I can think of that would use that would be a paladin. Or possibly a cleric, maybe? Something like that? Let me know in the comments. But, yeah, they end up asking, some of the other people at the guild, can we borrow a spare sword? And they tell them essentially that if you do that, it could be the wrong fit for you and it could go badly. And we have seen what happens when someone uses the wrong sword in the wrong environment, aka what happened in the first episode, where the guy was using that too long a sword in that cave, and thus it led to his demise, essentially. So yeah, that is out of the question. The weirdly seductive lady gives them a candle that if you light it, and you get closer to what you're looking for, it'll get hotter. Okay? And they end up asking Goblin Slayer for advice, and essentially he tells them, use a club. It's more effective. It's probably a little more effective. It's lighter. It needs less maintenance. And essentially, a club could be a backup weapon just in case something happens to your original weapon. Which is a fair idea. So that's what he ends up going with as they go back down the sewers to find a sword. They end up finding it, but the spiders ended up eating it. I don't get how that's possible, because even if, let's say, for example, a snake came and swallowed the corpse whole, that's the only way I can think of something actually eating the weapon. So, because, yeah, even if you ate a piece of the meat that had the sword, stuck to it, do you really think a monster's going to swallow a sword? I don't think so. Even a basic monster would not like that, I would think. If I were the monster, I would spit it out and go on to find my next meal, not eat the sword. However, they end up getting chased by the spider monsters, which I'm thinking the girl is afraid of spiders because she freaks out seeing them both times. And thankfully the guy is able to kill the monster that has his sword, and he gets it back. So I'm assuming he will keep the club as a backup weapon and keep his sword as his primary weapon for the time being. While this is going on, Goblin Slayer is asked to be an observer for a promotion exam, and we find out the priestess has been promoted to Obsidian, which is great. Shit. Anyway, I find out that the guy ended up stealing... Hang on, I'll just save this. It ain't that big a deal. There we go. I'll just put it on the charger in a minute. Anyway, the one he's observing is a little adventurer, and he's claiming that, yeah, just promote me to Ruby or Emerald or whatever the heck. Essentially wanting to be promoted higher up than he needs to be. And they notice that his gear is relatively new and high quality. They realize that from the reports they got that the guy had snuck off scouting and found a treasure chest and kept the contents for himself so he could sell it and buy new gear. Yeah, that's a dick move. Considering when you're on a quest with a bunch of people, any treasure you find, you divide up between the people because it's not fair to keep the contents for yourself if everybody else was doing work too. And yeah, because of this, he gets banned from working in the guild anymore and is essentially not banned from the city, but he's not able to work there anymore. And he's demoted down to porcelain. And the guy had an idea of trying to attack the lady because he got mad, but obviously Goblin Slayer put him in his place in that little, I don't know if it was a vision or what he thought would happen, or I don't know, but he leaves claiming, I'll remember this, essentially. I find out that lady, the one who's always, giving all the quests around to everybody, has a crush on Goblin Slayer, which I think is adorable. Anyway, next episode we get a little story of some legendary heroes saving somebody from a bunch of demon lords from 10 years ago. And I'm starting to think, is that the Archbishop they saved? Because later on, they end up getting a request for Goblin Slayer to come to that town where the Archbishop is, and they are the one that actually sent the quest. And when they get there, the Archbishop's eyes are covered, and I'm assuming it's because she sustained an injury or something during her long life. And that's why. But she appears to be able to still see, in a way. Could somebody explain it to me, please? But they essentially think that goblins are running around in the sewers, so they head down there to investigate, and they do run into a bunch of goblins, and they run into goblins that can drive boats. Essentially give goblins a something, and they will figure out eventually how to use it. Funny thing is, eventually they end up running into a swamp dragon. I don't know how the heck that thing got down there, but they lead it towards the goblin ships, and they get devoured. Which I thought that was actually my idea of how they could get rid of the dragon and the goblins at the same time. They think essentially that somebody was intentionally helping the goblins, because how else? The goblins didn't know about the swamp dragon, or else they wouldn't have used the boats. And how could they have learned how to use the boats without someone showing them how? So yeah, we got that going on. But that's next episode. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.